on DoorDash and whether they're stealing tips.
I think it's I wouldn't say it's common, but I think we're naive and gullible if we think big companies don't do this.
No one ever tells you how powerful it feels to have one of these suckers right up on the kissy. Maybe I have to hold this one actually really close. I have to figure out a better way to do this, but for now, I'm still figuring out this microphone, so bear with me, but I hope it's a lot better than the other one, because that one was just pissing me off. But how's it going? Welcome back. I hope you're as excited for this deep dive as I am. I know I promised all the updates would come at the end, but I do need to just thank you guys, because I never in a million years expected to get to 100 subscribers. I can't thank you guys enough. I'm trying to cook up something special, you know? Maybe like, I was thinking of doing like a hot pepper challenge, but with my orders, like something like, if I can't guess the tip, I have to eat like a progressively hotter pepper. I thought that might be fun. Now that we've grown a little older, my tummy doesn't really like the same things it used to. I'm literally bodied by black coffee now. If I drink black coffee and it doesn't have buckets and buckets of oat milk or something in it, I just drop to the ground.
Next up, there's an accident on the freeway that hasn't been cleared yet. The roads are not too bad, but there is a stalled vehicle in the right lane causing a bit of congestion. You might want to repair it. Right here. Lots of great music coming up for you in just a few minutes, but first...
The deep dive I wanted to do today. Oh, sugar biscuits! I gotta get my stuff recording. Dang, almost missed that. Oh, dang. So, anyways, today's deep dive is going to be, let's get all this out of here, is going to be, I wanted to look into whether or not restaurants are stealing tips from their drivers. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to like definitively answer that question, but, you know, let's go and open up an incognito screen, okay, because I don't trust none of y'all. I wanted to look at whether or not restaurants are stealing tips from delivery drivers. And there's a few angles we can come at this, right? Some of those angles include the legality of it, like maybe it's within their legal rights to skim off the top of those tips, or decide, you know, what they're giving to their drivers. The second angle I was thinking about, maybe it's within the contract, you know, that DoorDash worked out. If the customer orders, if you don't know, customers don't always order through the DoorDash app. Sometimes DoorDash is literally just a third-party delivery app. Like, the customers don't have to order through DoorDash, the DoorDash app, in order to have a DoorDash driver deliver to them. And what I mean by that is, let's use Panera for example, right? If I was to go to Panera, I don't think they listed on their website, and if they do, it's gonna be an example. Hang on, you'll see. Okay, so when we come to Panera, right? Let's see, start an order. Sometimes customers will just come into the restaurant, into the restaurant's website and order from there. And as you just saw, they don't always tell you, like, I don't directly see it here. Yeah, they don't always tell you right off the bat. Now they could as I get closer to the ending here for delivery, but right off the bat, and I think this happens a lot, they don't tell the customer who's delivering their food, and they just know that they placed a delivery order for Panera, and that's who's gonna be bringing them their food. But as you just see, they don't immediately disclose to you that, hey, DoorDash, Uber Eats, they might be delivering your order today. So they literally use them as third-party delivery apps without always disclosing that information. That's where the problem comes in, right? That's where some conspiracy and sneakiness can occur. Because the running theory is that restaurants are skimming off the top of tips, either taking all of the tip or taking enough of the tip to where they're just giving that driver maybe 20% of what that person tipped in there. And there is quite a bit of evidence out there to suggest this. Now, I am not the first person to talk about this. I am not the first person to talk about this. It has been a while, I think, if we go to YouTube and type in... Right, and this isn't a DoorDash only problem, but I'll probably be focusing mostly on DoorDash because I think that's where some of it has been proven. But this can happen with any restaurant, right? Sorry, it was a flag. But this can happen with any restaurant. So I just want to show you guys. I'm not the first one to talk about this, okay? There's a lot of people that talk about this. Some are pretty short. Tanner Markley 2 years ago. DoorDash is stealing your tips, and most of us find out the hard way. Right, there's people that think DoorDash is stealing tips directly from the drivers, right? Even if they placed it through the customer app, at that point it would be DoorDash stealing the tip. Now, that's not something I'm really looking at here. I'm looking at... You guys will have to bear with me because my Canon camera broke, so I'm currently using a GoPro Hero 9. The battery dies super fast, so I'm gonna run this one out as much as I can, but you definitely might have to see Potato Faith here soon. But anyways, let's jump back into it. So I'm not the only one to talk about this, or have talked about this, but I just wanted to see if we could go any deeper and present new information. I want to like really look at it and see what proof people have shown. So a lot of this is just going to be like anecdotal evidence at first. And then I want to look at the next episode. I'm going to be calling corporate restaurants, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and kind of like pretending to be a customer that this happened to, and just seeing what their protocol is and what they say. And then just calling in and seeing if I can actually get them to admit that this has happened or is happening, and to see what we find there. And possibly do our own experiment, seeing which restaurants seem to be doing this the most, and trying to catch them in the act. But to be honest, I don't have that much money, so I don't think we'll be able to do that. But see what comes up and what proof we have, compile that, and then go even deeper in the next episode, because I don't want this one to be too long. Let's go ahead and look at this one. So there is like some actual physical proof, but see, this dude posts a receipt, but he doesn't really post like another screenshot. So let's look at this. DoorDash stealing tips. Read more in the comments. Delivery free. Tip $7.30.
I think Outback Steakhouse may be doing this on orders through their website also. Stinks for the customers. They're giving a good tip, and their tip is sitting around because the restaurant kept the tip, and the DD payout reflects that, so no one is going to take their no tip order.
This also adds, like, you know, more tread to the water, that when you're seeing all these like no tip offers, it's kind of crazy to me, because like it's you look at this with Uber Eats especially, and it could be a reason why you don't see as many tips or high paying tips on DoorDash, because as far as I know, the base pay for Uber Eats and DoorDash are fairly similar. A lot of people can't tell because it seems like you get bigger payouts on Uber Eats, which you do, but this could be a contributing factor as to why, you know, because you see so many higher payouts in Uber Eats, and maybe Uber Eats doesn't allow restaurants to have as many, you know, alternative routes to possibly steal the tip. They probably have more securities in place that ensure that that can happen, whereas DoorDash doesn't really care. But I don't know. The next episode, we're gonna look into the legality of all that, and that's because I'm gonna have to read the terms of service, make those phone calls. But I think that'll be a much more interesting episode. This one, like I said, we're just kind of peeling back the skin of the issue.
It places the lotion in the basket.
Oh, that sounded gross, actually. All right, so let's keep going here.
Pretty sure it's the restaurant in this case. You ordered on their site.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. So, you know, it's a receipt Here you can clearly see you probably went through the website and got pushed through. They are.
I've seen where restaurants have a menu item that is a tip for the restaurant employees. That's just fine, especially considered the reduction of indoor dining as long as it's clear to the customer which tip is going.
Yeah, that's another issue. I don't think they make it very clear. A lot of websites don't make it clear that, you know, where that tip is actually going. And when you order through the app, it's very clear that the DoorDash app, that is, it's very clear where your tip is going, because, you know, it literally says like driver tip, like deliver, something like that. But I think on a lot of websites, if you order directly through the website, it's not always disclosed or obvious where your tip is going. But obviously that's a blanketed statement and it can't be applied to everybody. Alright, so that's one account. Is DoorDash stealing all your tips? That's probably another restaurant. I'm a relatively infrequent.
I don't understand the whole DoorDash stealing tips thing. Yes, I am very well aware that others have posted about this, but I haven't found a clear answer as to how they're stealing tips. Honestly, I don't know anything about how the pay is calculated, blah blah blah. Okay, so apparently DD uses over 50 different factors to determine how much you'll get, and this is
Clearly an expert here in the field. J Minute. Sugarcoat words, subsidies. It's a lot of reading. Cop out, stop dashing, and shit sounds. Okay, this isn't really talking about the issue. Boca de Pepo is stealing Dasher tips 3 years ago. Local Indianapolis news investigating. Update, I just want to say DoorDash just tried to release a statement saying I did not earn the tip and that they were just being generous or anything like that. I actually have a recorded phone call from the representative. New Year's Eve. I decided to sign in for a while. One of the first orders was a very large, several $100 order from an Italian restaurant called Boca de Pepo. I've been there. On 86th Street in Indianapolis. I waited, drove to the customer's house to drop it off. I never expected a large tip, but when I saw there was no tip after completing the trip, I thought it seemed off considering the size of the order and how sweet the customer and husband were. I waited several minutes. Yeah. I never expect a large tip, but when I saw there was no tip after completing the trip, I thought it seemed off considering the size of the order and how sweet the customer and her husband were. After doing some investigating online, I discovered that this restaurant uses a program called Easy Cater, where they put the information in and then one of the third-party delivery services gets dispatched to pick it up. Only when inputting the details in, they conveniently leave the tip information out so that the drivers get none of it. Suspicious. I called the restaurant and said, my company says I need the paperwork for this order so they can reimburse me for the tip the customer left me. I politely ask if I can come by and pick it up. The girl on the other end of the line sounds hesitant, but says yes. When I arrive back at the restaurant a few minutes later, the manager, an older man in his 60s, tells me the tip is for him. He tells me they have no way to pull up an old order at this point. Playing the game, I tell him my company says he should be able to pull it up and that if he can't, he tells me they have no way to pull up an old order at this point. Playing the game, I tell him my company, yeah, they want me to get the corporate information so they can obtain it. He then tells me to stop talking so he can think. He pauses for a few moments and walks to the back and comes back with the exact paperwork I needed in the picture here. He hands it to me and says verbatim, you guys are just running the food to the customer. You don't deserve a $75 tip for that. I bypass this completely and ask him for the corporate info, only to have him say, I'm corporate and buck stops here, lady. I looked into it and this restaurant steals tips from third-party delivery drivers constantly. So I got $8 and a side of nasty attitude. Turns out he is not the corporate office as he says, although I'm sure they'll be interested to know he thinks he is. Please join me in sharing this post to let others know about this app. Do yourself a favor and don't go to Boca de Pepo. The location, blah, 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 blah.
If there's a third-party app for your third-party delivery service, how can you control that? How can you control?
You're using another third-party system that you don't own or have control over. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to look into ezCater here. But that absolutely seems plausible. He clearly was able to manipulate the tip and keep most of the money for himself. And what restaurant owner nowadays, with the economy being so great and, you know, the workforce being so ample and available to everyone, you know, what restaurant owner isn't struggling right now? I don't know. And this was 3 years ago. Imagine how desperate people are now. Like, it's it doesn't seem far-fetched to me whatsoever. I asked it for the receipt and it showed a $40 tip. To be fair, I don't really look at the receipts too often unless I feel like they missed an item that I can clearly see on my app. I asked for the receipt and it showed a $40 tip, but the manager said it goes to the restaurant. I still made $30, but would have been nice to get tipped. Those pasta trays can get heavy. I asked for the receipt to have proof, but they denied my request. Same merchant, but in Arizona. I talked to support, but they never did nothing about it. ezCater can suck it. Yeah, it seems like ezCater is definitely in on it. Looks like we got a new task for the guys over at Scambait. From the ezCater site.
The going rate for... Ooh, dang it, now we got something good. The going rate for tipping catering delivery drivers. First, always confirm with your caterer that gratuity is not already included in your total bill before your order arrives, as some larger catering service will automatically apply it. If not, you'll want to leave a cash tip in addition to the delivery or service charge.
Woo! Alright. I think the question here is, who does ezCater intend to get the tip? ezCater is who Boca de Pepo is doing business with. I wonder how many other restaurants use ezCater. I wonder if that's ezCater affiliates. ezCater was founded in August 2007 in Boston, Massachusetts, and is the world's largest marketplace for corporate catering. We make it easy to order food online. No. From 5 to 2,000 people, we have a solution for you. ezCater connects business people with 81,000 plus reliable caterers and restaurants across the U.S. Okay, so they might have a few of them in their pocket. Oh no. Oh, so this could easily be a huge issue that DoorDash just doesn't care to address, or definitely 1,000% knows is happening and they don't care. They just don't care. All they care about is that you get that food to Barbara, okay? That's all they care about. And you don't steal her french fries. I mean, even though they still won't care, just get the food to Barbara.
And from ezCater's FAQ, should I tip the delivery driver? We recommend it unless the distance is small or the delivery fee is already large. Drivers rely on tips. Simply enter the tip amount when you finalize the payment on an order, then you're all set. Even if you're not present when the delivery occurs. They aren't really very clear about the process. It would be interesting to see how it works when actually placing an order, but I don't need that much food.
I agree. If I had $200 extra lying around, I would definitely go ahead order $100 worth of food from a restaurant that uses ezCater with $100 tip and see what happens. And here, Boca de Pepo site, it says 10% delivery fees for all catering deliveries, maximum $100. Sounds to me like you are entitled to at least 10%. That sucks. Again, we don't know the legality of all this, so we'll have to see. Let's get out of Boca de Pepo. Don't let merchants steal your tip. Don't do it. Saw a post about Roti Mediterranean. Not giving drivers the tip, but instead dispersed among the staff. That's absolutely, without a doubt, 100% dead wrong. I won't even dive into the ethics or labor laws. I'll just be using basic common sense and reasoning. Here's why. If customer orders direct from Roti site, they have two... Oh. No. Dang it. See, I told you it was gonna happen. But we did get some video, so I'm gonna go ahead and plug it in.
Yeah. If customer orders direct from Roti site, they have two options. A, pickup, or B, delivery. Guess which of those options is the only one that allows a customer to enter a gratuity? Delivery. Drivers basically work for tips. The non-tipped employees at the restaurant get paid a standard wage regardless of how small or large the order is. If they are tip sharing, which is wrong too, why is the driver not included? When customer orders through Easy Cater, the largest third-party catering service, the site clearly says tip for driver. However, there are some restaurants that don't allow online gratuity. Like, for example, I'm not even going to try that. In that situation, you just hope customer knows to tip in cash. Don't let the restaurant bully you. Do your own research and inquire about the tip. Closed mouths don't get fed.
Let's see. This dude says, how do you catch them? How do you prove it? How do you force them to give you your money? Is it an easy cart order? To answer your question bluntly, the management there is looking out for their employees and cares nothing for you. Fair enough. Fair enough. And it's tough times out there and people are desperate. So, like, I get why you would steal it, but also, like, you know, we gotta survive too. That's just my thoughts on it. I just wanted to go over some anecdotal accounts. Papa John's does this. Local stores input the order. Had a customer ask me if I was tipped because they stole his tip. Alright, so this was one of the top articles that popped up when I googled restaurant stealing tips. Bay Area's DoorDash to pay $2.5 million after being accused of stealing drivers' tips. Restaurant delivery firm denies allegations. I'm sure you do, sir. And this was from November 25th, 2020. So let's see what the result of this was. Bay Area restaurant delivery firm DoorDash has agreed to pay $2.5 million to settle a government lawsuit alleging it stole drivers' tips and deceived customers into thinking their tip money was going to drivers. See, it's not right. It's an issue. You can get in trouble for that. No.
Washington, D.C. Attorney General Carl Racine filed a civil suit last year and in a news release accused the San Francisco company of lowering labor costs by swiping tips left for workers. Racine claimed DoorDash led consumers to believe that any tips would go directly to food delivery workers, while instead effectively treating this money as extra profit for company.
In District Columbia Superior Court alleged DoorDash would reduce drivers' pay for each job by the amount of any tip. For example, if a customer left no tip on a job that was to pay $10 to the driver called a dasher by the company, DoorDash would pay the drivers $10. What? If a customer left no tip on a job that was... Oh, okay. DoorDash would pay the driver $10. But if a customer tipped $9, DoorDash would pay $1, the suit claimed. The only thing the customer's tip changed was DoorDash's share of the workers' pay, the suit alleged. The company also agreed to give consumers entire tips to drivers. So they agreed. They said, okay, we were doing that, but we can't do it anymore. We see that. Okay, we won't do it. With tips having no effect on driver pay and to provide consumers with a summary of charges for each order, including item costs, tips paid, service fees, and taxes. The company admitted no wrongdoing. Of course you didn't. Of course you didn't. This is the only way we can have power, is to educate ourselves and understand how we can possibly or are being screwed over. That is the only thing that's ever going to give you power in this situation, is educating yourself. And, you know, education isn't always going to result in, you know, you getting paid more, or, you know, like it's not always going to make your life better, but at least you know the extent to which you're being fucked, right? So, thank you guys for coming along with me on this first episode. It was just a lot of anecdotal evidence, like I said. Can't really prove. I don't know how you, I really don't know how you 100% prove this, but you know, the evidence gets you 99% there. The next episode, we're gonna look into the legality of all this, maybe dive into a few more articles that delve into it. I'd like to reach out to restaurants and corporations and call them and, you know, like I said, kind of play out a situation and see how they react, what their protocols are. Yeah, just dig as deep as we can. But I really just wanted to get this out so we could all dip our toes in the water, see how it feels, and it feels warm. So I'm going in. But yeah, thank you guys, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye bye.
Psych, I'm sorry guys, one more thing I wanted to mention. I had kinda, earlier in the video I had mentioned a lot of YouTubers that had given me shoutouts and just helped me a lot, but I also wanted to like give some props to a few other YouTubers that have just either been like super nice to me, really welcoming as far as, you know, me coming into the community, just really, really nice people. Some of those include the Russ Ride, Gig IQ, Gig Lebowski, best name of the game by the way, DoorDash Dad, hilarious dude, Joe Gig, and just some other honorable mentions. I just wanted to include because I'm not gonna be able to make content every day like these people, like some of these people. I got school coming up, and I work like a ton. I have to do all this gig work a ton to make ends meet right now, while I wait on my W-2 job to come back, which sounds like it's going to a lot sooner than I thought. But anyways, yeah, so some other YouTubers that I just really enjoy watching, they may or may not be within the space, but I'm gonna list them and you know, give a few clips, so if you guys want to go check them out, feel free to do that. But other than that, there's really not going to be any other updates for the rest of this video. I'm just gonna list off a few other YouTubers I enjoy watching, and you know, while you're waiting for my content to come out, maybe go check out these guys. Like I said, they might not be within this community space, but they're entertaining and I like watching them. So, again, thank you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.